Hi, guys, and welcome to another episode of Fiction and Feelings. This is the show where we talk about fiction and our feelings towards that fiction. As we can see, it's not just me today. Andre is with me. That's because we went to watch Sinners, starring Michael B. Jordan, Haley Steinfeld, and other people that I don't know.
I know.
Yeah, you're about to see our first impression of the movie, and then we'll get into the review. Yeah. Thoughts? First impressions? We just walked out of the theater from watching Sinners, and this is our no time to simmer reaction. I don't know what I just watched. I'm so confused. But we didn't watch the trailers or know what was.
What do you think it was going to be?
The horror was not really horroring to me. It was
Who said it was supposed to be a horror?
the people.
Who people?
The people that produced the movie. It's supposed to be a horror adventure. Horror/adventure. I literally Googled that one thing and that one thing only. Because I was like, what is this even? Because we were told that it was going to be a horror.
You see?
By
Exactly.
people.
By
So I just wanted to make sure that I was like, okay, I hate horrors, by the way. So I was like, what am I getting myself into? So then I was just like, okay, maybe it's not necessarily a horror because a lot of people are coming to see this, and not that many people come to see horrors here. Not that sort of way.
You see, that's why you don't listen to people. You just go
And then
into
I
a
Googled
movie
it.
with an open mind.
Yeah.
So
No advertisement of it. No, I don't know who the actors are. I don't know what the storyline is.
Okay, I knew a little bit. I knew from a couple memes, and for the time I saw a couple memes, I was like, let me not spoil it. I saw like one sort of skit, and that skit had something about don't let me in, or no, don't let if your girlfriend come over and she asks to get let in, don't do it. And I was like, I don't want to go through that, so let me not watch anymore. Let me get off the internet. And that's another thing. If you want to see a picture and you don't want spoilers, just get off the internet.
We do that often where we
Just
just we see the title of something and we just like do a brief like, this look good or not look good from the poster of it, and then we go and see it. We have no idea what it is about. This one I had no idea what it was about. So when it started, it felt like a horror vibe because the first minute or so of it, my arm is getting tired. Are you gonna not block the camera?
I don't know.
So the first minute of it, it felt horror-ish vibes because it was like all spooky, and then I feel like after that it wasn't that horror-ish. It was like
I don't think it was any horror. I didn't think it was a horror.
Yeah, I didn't feel like a horror really.
I didn't think it was a horror.
It was clearly a musical. Yeah. Let's just say that.
Okay, and that was the one note that I took.
It was 100% a musical.
I guess I was singing.
It was musical.
And for the time for me, it got any singing.
It's a musical.
It's a musical. It's basically Sweeney Todd mixed with a Disney movie.
Yes, I was feeling Sweeney Todd vibes. That's why I said that the horror aspect wasn't horror-ish, because Sweeney Todd is technically a horror too, but it was feeling like Sweeney Todd, and I liked Sweeney Todd. This, however, I feel like it had such good space for plot, and then it just went dry. Like I thought it was gonna be more than just that. Like I thought it was gonna be more story, and it was literally one day, one night, and that was it. I don't really like movies like that are just like built on one day.
But to be fair, I like that because in reality, if this was to happen to me, if I was in that position, that would be what I wanted. So that would have been a drawn out. It would not have been a very.
I
I would
didn't
have
want
either
the vampire
died.
thing to be like drawn out.
I would have
But
either died
I didn't
instantaneously.
expect them to be vampires.
Are we spoiling it?
Sorry.
Wait till our spoiler review, but yeah.
This is part of the review. We're gonna insert this clip. While we spoil it, we're gonna insert this clip that we're talking. This is just our first impression.
I thought that I liked it. I enjoyed the movie.
It was
a good movie.
I don't know why I expected just not that.
Well, my initial rating is about, I would say 8, 7.5, 8.
We do 5-star ratings here. 3.
4.
3 stars. 3.
Oh man, let's get 3.5. Okay.
3 stars.
But I could tell you why it's 4. I thought the production value was good.
Yeah, it was good production.
I thought,
Except for when Michael B. Jordan was playing himself, I've seen better twinness. And that's not a spoiler.
let me see. There is a picture that I was comparing it to with, if y'all know Alfie from Peaky Blinders. Yeah. Viewers will though, what movie he played in. Write it in chat. I can't remember what picture he played in where he was a twin. Both had like different personalities. So I can't remember Alfie. Can't remember the picture, but it was a twin, and they both had like different personalities. Each twin had like a really different personality. One
The
was
twins were good. No, that's not what I meant. I meant like the camera quality of shooting twins. Like literally, if you watch Parent Trap, that was like 5 million years ago. The one with Lizzie Lohan. I don't know who that is.
I know cool stuff.
But
Was
that
cool?
one was shot so
Okay.
much better as like twindom of seeing them next to each other. Like Michael B. Jordan was literally like this far away from his other part the entire time.
Not the entire time.
The entire time.
Part of the time.
The entire time.
Part of the time.
There's so much like that quality of it could have been so much better. Like the aspect of film has gone so much better putting twins when it's just one person next to each other. So when I saw them standing so far apart, I was like, this is so ghetto. This is so bad. So then I was just like, okay, that was iffy, but the rest of it was cool. I like that the vampires didn't heal.
They did.
No, they didn't.
Yeah.
They got big shootouts in their face.
Yeah, and then eventually.
They didn't heal.
Yeah.
No.
So how
The original people
Slatey scared.
stack.
Yeah.
Stack.
Mhm.
No,
He had
he
interest.
healed like a human being. I mean, as in like instantly. Usually when I got vampires in a movie, they like instantly heal. But even the big guy that got shot in his face, like his whole face was like torn off.
Yeah. But only for a while. And then the men do a little rain dance and a little coat dance. That's another thing. Which one would
that part?
Which one would you prefer?
Spoil everything.
You walk
The Irish dancing, by the way, and then the people behind me talking about Spanish. Oh, Spanish! And I was like, have y'all never seen an Irish jig before?
She is cultured. And I had
Irish
to
jig.
explain her during
They were
the
literally
movie.
singing.
Some people haven't experienced other people's culture before, so when they see,
so bad. So we came inside the car because our arms were getting tired of holding the phone, so we're propping you up now. But yes, what was I talking about? I don't even remember what I was talking about. The quality was good. The twin part was bad. The acting was okay.
I enjoyed the acting.
The acting was good.
Thought the acting was good.
It's okay.
This way my 4 is a 4. Acting was good.
I love Haley's acting. That was good. I was convinced by what she was saying. Mary.
Ah, Mary. I don't know your real names. I don't know. I know Michael B. Jordan. I know Michael B. Jordan, and then everybody else was like, oh, I saw them before, sort of. Yeah.
I like these actors.
I like the acting. I liked, believe it or not, the singing. That guy had a voice.
They had beautiful voices.
That guy had a voice.
There's so much singing.
Because it was Jim Crow. Whatever era this is.
Yeah, but I feel like the singing wasn't adding to the plot.
Yeah, it was a show that it was Negro spiritual.
That scene where it was Negro spiritual and it was showing you the past and the future and the present, that was perfect. That one like captivated me. At first I was like, okay, some of these beats don't go with each other, how they're overlapping it. That could have been done with a little bit more mixing. They needed a song guy to like mix that slightly better. However, showing the past, present, and all of that stuff, I actually thought that was so good. But then I was like, okay, where is this going? And I don't think that they put enough of that into the rest of it. Like they brought that up, and then they were like, vampires.
I think that they don't want to overbear the audience with it because it would have gotten old, and they wanted to move forward the plot with it.
At the beginning,
it wasn't.
They said that music is magical and it brings evil, so it highlighted to the evil being the vampires. Got it, cool, no problem. But like, you bring that spiritual side in that aspect, and then you kind of sort of give the only Orisha shaman lady, the only person that does voodoo essentially.
No, but yeah, essentially.
I don't know what she's do, and we didn't really explain what she's do. They didn't really explain what she's do. But you give the only person that has that element not that much time to explain anything.
But once again, that is why I think
they were just
it was
like garlic.
Yeah,
wood.
that's why I think it could have only happened in a day. Because if this was to happen
but
right
I feel
now,
it needed more backstory for me to invest.
Yeah, but you wasn't supposed to be invested in.
It wasn't a deep movie.
Exactly.
And I felt like it wanted me to be deep when it started talking about the past and the present and music. I felt like it wanted me to be deep, and then it decided, nah, we're not finna be deep. And I didn't like that. It was like, either be deep or don't be deep. That was a great cinematic. I'm so sorry, I'm cutting him off all the time.
By the time I saw, like, where was it? Like 10 minutes in, I was like, this is not deep. It is not. It is. It gives you the essence of blackness, but it isn't deeply black. I would say it like that. It is, okay, you could pinpoint, certain points of blackness, but it isn't supposed to draw you into black.
If you're not into black popular culture, because okay, I did a little bit of black popular culture at UE. I literally took one class, not an expert, but in that, if you don't know that much stuff, you wouldn't get the Jim Crow reference. You wouldn't understand the time frame to understand why they sing the blues, what is going on.
But
so going into it, not knowing anything, you're just like, what I
liked about that is that I like any movie that doesn't make their audience.
Location change, phone change. My phone died. Anyways, so I was saying that I took a popular culture class, and I was like, I wish that they taught more about the Jim Crow stuff. They did it sprinkle of culture, sprinkle of culture. But you were saying, sorry, you were saying that you liked.
Yeah.
They did a sprinkle.
Yeah, I liked it. That it wasn't overbearing with blackness. That it wasn't like, shove black, this black, black. It was just normal. It was, we skim over a lot of, then made you seem as the audience that you were foolish. It gave the audience enough time. If you understood, you understood. If you didn't,
But then it
read a
went
book.
straight over your head.
And that is
It
fine.
wanted to be deep, and then it didn't want to be deep. It just went, oh, we're gonna be deep. Vampire.
Deep enough, because it's like, if you want to be deep, go on, read a historical drama.
I still
or
don't
something.
understand with Sammy. I don't understand.
Yes, Sammy,
Why did they want him?
because he was a representation of
Magic,
was-
culture, blackness.
let me go with that. There is a word. What is
the
it?
sole focus was like, oh, he drew us in with his black magic.
What laughing is that there's a
black
phrase that
magic,
people
but
use. See,
black magic.
who said it? I think it was some skit where every place, every picture always have to have a magical Negro. He was that magical Negro.
Yes, but then
He was the magical Negro.
they never explained why he was
they
the
said
magical
they
one.
said that he
His voice, his
and his
singing.
music draws.
But why just him? Everybody else was singing.
People. Everybody was singing, but everybody
No,
wasn't drawing.
the vampire literally was like Sammy.
Yeah, because it's like, I could just, like.
No.
If you're driving through a neighborhood, right? And everybody cooking on a Sunday. It might got one house that just cooking better. That was Sammy. He was the super magical Negro. He was he was the top one. He was, I love it. I love whatever you put it on. I taken up. He was that guy.
And then, after he gets staked, yeah, that was spoiler. Whatever. The cousin no longer cares about him. Didn't care about getting him anymore.
Yeah.
Or stayed away for years.
Because his brother said, stay away.
But I was a magical demon person, so then of course I would want to focus
But
on...
no, he only wanted to focus on what their hive symbiotic mind was doing. The leader of the hive mind wanted the...
So then why he is still alive, living a vampire life? What is the purpose?
Because no, he can do what he want to do.
And why he never got to see his brother again? Did his brother die or not die?
Smoke?
Uh-huh.
That's Smoke dead. Sorry.
Are we
spoiler.
sure?
Yeah, Smoke dead.
Because
The man
don't
was...
actually see him die.
For the time he started holding, he died, child.
But he was close to death, and people have sightings of dead people when they're on the brink of death all the time.
No, he was dead. He went in, he was fell dead. He was dead. He was bleeding out. He was dead.
How did only one bullet hit? Anyways.
Because once again,
That's not even.
you see, I didn't like that only one bullet hit. Because some people just like to say, can't shoot. And they flip it. No, white people can't shoot. But I mean, the one bullet still killed the man, so whatever. He still did his
another
job.
movie that would have 100% not killed him.
Yeah.
But
Once again, more realistic.
Is it?
For a picture that got
it went straight through.
Yeah.
It was like whatever. Anyways, so this was just our first impressions. He says 4 stars. I say 3 stars.
Boo.
Because it was trying to be deep, but then it didn't want to be deep, and it was like comical, but then at the same time it was supposed to be horror-ish, but then it was giving Sweeney Todd, but then it was giving musical, and it was just confused. But it was still good acting, but like I'm confused. I need to let it sink in. That's maybe what I need to do. I need to let it sink in a little bit, because I don't understand what the point was, but maybe there was no point.
Exactly. It was a movie It was
Maybe I just like.
it was a movie that was better than Brain Rot, but not as good as, say, some in-depth Oppenheimer, Tenet sort of movie. So it was like, oh, you want Brain Rot? Don't watch the movie. But you want something that super in-depth? Don't watch the movie. If you want the middle in between that sweet spot, entertainment. It was just entertainment. And I was entertained.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sorry for being entertained.
Entertaining. It was entertaining. Mm-hmm. It was entertaining. Yeah. It was entertaining, sure. Anyways, we'll get back to us in like 1 second for you guys with a more in depth. Maybe not. Yeah. So, I have notes. I came prepared. Did you come prepared?
Yeah, I just watched a movie.
No, but it's supposed to be a review. We're supposed to go in depth about what they did. Yeah. So I went into it. We both went into it, not knowing anything about the movie, not knowing anything about anything. I went hardcore. I don't know what this is. I've never even seen a trailer. I don't know who's in this movie. You at least knew who was in the movie.
I knew Michael B. Jordan was in the movie.
Okay.
And yeah, that is absolutely. I knew nothing else. Nothing else about the movie at all.
I didn't know that they were gonna be that he was gonna be twins or whatever.
Yeah, I didn't know. I didn't know anything basically.
I didn't know what that movie was about, but apparently it's a Ryan Coogler 2025 Southern Gothic horror musical.
That explains it. And if you all saw what we said when we came out, I said, well, my only note that I made
that was a musical.
In the entirety of that movie, I wrote it down in notepad.
That's a musical.
This is a musical. It had a lot of singing, guys. Had a lot of sing. Not saying that was bad. Just had more singing than I thought it would have had.
Sure did.
Even though went in completely lost, but still, I was like, maybe we're in a musical. So I was given like I said, Sweeney Todd vibes.
Mm-hmm.
So I was shocked. Had so much singing. Once again, singing wasn't bad. It was good. I thought the singing was good.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that boy could sing.
Sammy. We don't know what the actor for Sam. I'll put it on the screen, whatever his actual name is.
Yeah, but he could.
He could sing. Yeah.
She didn't like his voice, his normal talking
No,
voice.
it's not I didn't like it. Don't tell people I didn't like it. That's not true. I said it doesn't match his face, and that's annoying me.
So she didn't like his normal talking voice, but when he sang, oh my goodness!
I didn't say I didn't like his voice.
Amazing.
His voice was fine. It just didn't match his body. Some people just have voices like that don't match their face, and then you go, "Whoa, I didn't expect that to come out of you."
Well,
it did. It did come out of him.
She didn't like his voice, and he started to sing, and it was.
I'm not gonna stop saying that. Anyways,
it was.
So let's give the people backstory about the movie. This is what I did the research on. So it follows Smoke and Stackmore. Did we know their last names in the movie? No.
Didn't care.
World War I veterans. We knew that they were in a war. Yeah. It's in 1932 Mississippi. Well, it kind of follows Sammy actually. It doesn't really follow the twins.
Whatever.
It follows them, but like it's more about. I think it's a split between the twins and Sammy. Like they're the three of them, i.e. the two of them, since Michael B. Jordan is playing two people. It's about them and their cousins.
Yeah.
So it starts with Sammy and being a preacher's son.
Yeah.
So it's
atypical.
His dad was in the movie for like 5 seconds.
Yeah, it is a atypical black representation.
It's not atypical. It's
It,
literally stereotypical.
it
It's
wasn't
all these
stereotypical.
It's stereotypical, and we didn't get into my backstory, my little research that I did, my little Googles, because it's
Or
literally
Yahoos.
I didn't use Yahoo, so
Oh wow.
right. So it follows them and their journey into coming to do a juke joint.
Yeah.
Juke joint. So let me get my little backstory and then we get into the movie review. So the themes are cultural oppression, religious control, racial oppression. Did we see that? I see racial
Cultural
and
oppression.
religious wasn't there.
Yeah, religious.
It was implied.
Religious oppression implied.
Cultural.
Yeah,
And that's
cultural
also
oppression.
implied. It has the theme of supernatural forces and that music is transformative. I learned the vampire's name. His name was Remick. Didn't know that. We were watching the entire time. Did they even say his name?
I know. I think they probably did. Did I care? No. Honestly, other from Smoke and Steak.
Stop
Stock.
Stop
See?
calling him my stick.
And their names are inconsequential to
That's not
actually.
true. It matters.
It only matters
It
to tell them
matters
apart.
in the history. It matters in the history. They got some musical. That part I didn't write down because I was not interested in. But like Smoke House something is like a music company or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's based on them.
Yeah,
Like that
cool.
name.
As
Anyways, so the rest of my thing is this is in the Jim Crow era. He said not to explain this part, but to me, for people like me who were like, is this supposed to be like Jim Crow? I didn't even know it was in 1932 Mississippi. We went in so blind that I was confused. We're in the Jim Crow era and we have racial segregation. That's what's going on.
Yeah.
Okay? So we got the KKK. I don't know if I can actually say it out loud because YouTube might say, nah.
Shelter be Klein.
Andre! Anyways, and then a little fun fact: juke joints versus roadhouses. So roadhouses are where white people will go to listen to country music and jive, juke, blah blah blah. Yeah, and then juke joints are black people. It was actually spelled JOOK because it's from Creole language.
Yeah.
And it means to engage in unruly behavior or rowdy behavior to dance. I thought that was a cool fun fact linguistically. Yeah. So that's where that came from. So that they could have a safe space where they could go at night and drink and not be racially oppressed because during the day they had to be whipped and follow what the white man told them to do.
Yeah, in modern culture, that would be akin to like what you would call in the Caribbean, walking up or twerking.
Yes, and that's why in the movie for like a split second you see some twerking. So that's not going in. That's not going in there. I'm gonna blur you out. I'm gonna blur you so hard.
Shout out to twerking.
No. Anyways, so I this movie pissed me off. Now that I know more in depth about it, it pissed me off even more than my first initial reaction. So let's get into this. So let's start with the fact of like the religious control aspect. First of all, the only religious control that there kind of was the father was like, oh, read this Bible verse, come to church.
Yeah.
That's it?
Yeah.
The church wasn't any picture anymore?
Not a bit. Church, it was completely American. Church and state was separate in this entire movie. It was separate.
So when they're
I don't know
talking
what
about
control.
religious control, is like we get it. Like it was hinted at by the dialogue. So when Smoke or Stack or whoever he was talking to, we can't tell them apart because it's Michael B. Jordan.
Well, you could.
No,
Because it was like Crips and Bloods. That's how they portrayed it. Blue and red. It was like one had on blue, the other one had on red.
you see, right? He went that direction, and I went one on a fedora and one on that other type of hat.
Ah.
That's where my mind went. I
Okay. Okay. that is I think weirder
where's that weirder?
representation
They
of
literally were wearing.
yes, but one had on quite clearly a contrast in color to the other. One had on blue for the
I wasn't
entirety
even thinking about that.
of the picture.
This picture is one day. Of course, they had on blue the entire time.
No,
He didn't change his clothes.
And I don't know why.
They were having clothes to change until they're poor. Who poor? They were not poor. Not poor whatsoever.
Smoke.
But
they were
wait. Okay.
They were going to be poor if they had continued letting the poor people get them fake money.
See, right? I got a comment on that. So I learned what that's called. That's called script, and it's paper money and wooden tokens. That's what they would be paid, kind of to keep them in poverty, essentially, so that they can buy their way out. Cool, no problem. This whole juke joint was not for black people. It was for black people, but it wasn't for black people because Smoke and Stat was on this whole. We can rob the Irish. We can rob the who it was Russians, Germans,
whoever.
Irish. Yeah.
Irish.
Rob the Irish. Rob whoever else. Them rob, and then they had like this bunch of money. They had this whiskey, and okay, cool. You coming, you selling expensive liquor because all they could afford to drink at that time was corn liquor. What is corn liquor, first of all? You might sound dumb, but what's corn liquor?
No, you sound rich. She don't know.
What's corn liquor?
Liquor from corn.
Duh, I get that.
Liquor that.
I didn't know that corn could be turned into
everything
liquor.
Could be liquored. Everything could be turned into alcohol.
Fine, fair.
The fermentation process does
corn
not
is a
care.
fruit. Corn is a fruit. I thought corn was a vegetable.
There's no such thing as vegetables. Vegetables is a culinary term.
Okay, fine. Fair. Okay. Because I know fruits can be liquored.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Everything could be liquored.
You just said everything could be
almost
liquored.
Everything. If you squeeze.
Okay.
If you squeeze a potato long enough, guess what? You get vodka.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're not even going to get into that. But they were not trying to be for black people. Because you bring in fish, which, by the way, according to research, freshwater was not accessible to black people that started away in 1932. They were limited to that. Therefore, and that's why they get it from the Asian people.
Yeah.
So, getting a whole bunch of fish to have a fish fry, how you was gonna make that money? Dropping $100 on a table, dropping $200 on a table. How you was gonna make that money? Y'all spending money.
No, they had a plan. What they didn't account for
is that black people don't got money?
Yeah. They came from, I want to say, this way saying was atypical. It was atypical because what is the black experience, guys?
But they had the black experience and they were trying to make it better. Yeah. But what they didn't understand was you're not being smart. You're just stealing. You're literally doing the black thing. But the black stereotype thing of stealing to try to get ahead. But you're not actually thinking about the entire dynamic of it. Why are people poor? Because we're not being paid money. So if we're not being paid money, how do I expect to have an establishment that's paying me money if the only patrons that are going to come here and I'm going to allow in here are black people?
No, they can allow other people. They were going to allow other people.
No, they weren't. Cornbread was at the door, and as soon as Mary came in, he was just like, "Excuse me, miss."
But come on, they allow their Asian friends to come in. I
That's
think,
because them is friends.
yeah, exactly. So
That was probably oppressed too.
they were right to be skeptical about white people, even the mulatto.
Yes.
They were very right to be skeptical. So it's like we will allow you if you pass our background checks. If your background checks pass and you all Gucci,
hmm
you could come on in, you could enjoy, and you could spend the money.
But literally, why they didn't let the other white people in was Smoke and stop being like, okay, if he comes in here, you might step on his
Yeah.
wife's shoe or something like that, and then it may throw a ruckus. So which white people then was gonna let in there? Nobody.
Once again, whoever passed their check, and that is fair. That still even happen in black
So
culture.
even if you look at that, there was never gonna make a bunch of money because
Their idea, technically, well, how I viewed it was from the standpoint that they're coming from crime. And one thing that they would have learned from Al Capone is money laundering. So they wanted to use that money to launder to then make it clean. They know that they had a lot of illegal stuff going on, and they just now wanted to take a step back and make what they did into a legitimate enterprise. What they were trying to account for was that the black people would support them, which they would. What they kind of forgot and lost the essence of from experiencing what they experienced in Chicago was the black people that in Mississippi ain't got nothing to offer. Everybody's still using paper money, well, fake money and wooden
with token.
tokens and stuff that you can't really use to barter unless you're bartering with other blacks.
Mhm.
So that segregation
Mhm.
was just they thought that the blacks would have had a little bit more.
Mhm.
So he didn't really account for how long it would have taken to actually launder the money and regain the lifestyle that he would have possibly been accustomed to while working with Capone.
Yeah, so they didn't pay attention to the fact that black people didn't have any money, and therefore Smoke was like, "We're only accepting cold hard cash." From where?
But that is fair.
The man had 25 cents to pay for 50 cent beer.
30 cents. It was 30 cents. Not that it matter.
And I was like,
he was so short.
And Smoke was like, no, we can't be doing this. But if you look at it at the end of the day, when he was showing starting numbers, they had a lot of money in paper money on wooden chips. They had a great night in wooden chips on paper money. In real money, they were going to be broke.
Yes. And it is how, if you're a business owner, how can you look at it? Well, what you could do? Should you recirculate your wealth within the community?
How about you don't buy a bunch of fish, buy the chitlins that everybody else was buying, serve the chitlins, serve the corn liquor, and work your way up.
No.
Work your way up.
Why?
You can't bring Chicago to Mississippi.
Why not?
Because they're still segregated.
Chicago was segregated?
Not as much. They were making advances to not be as segregated in their music culture.
Yeah, but it was still very much bad as like you could enjoy the blacks music and that was touched on
when they were behind a curtain.
Yeah, but you could enjoy their culture even though you can enjoy our culture but
over there
from a distance. And no matter where, if it was Chicago, if it was New York, if it was Mississippi, it wouldn't have mattered.
Mississippi was hardcore, like, nah, we're not doing this. KKK gonna come and get you. Yeah, you can't come anywhere.
And that is better because direct racism, for me at least, is way better than that other closeted racism. If you know that it got cake, it was even touched on as he bought the joint. It was like, oh, so as I buy this, the clan going, come on, just shoot it to hell.
Yeah.
You might like, nah, it don't got the word clan here.
Yep.
Come on,
Mm-hmm.
come on, buddy. There's
Yep.
clan here.
So that was that. And then Sammy was just, he was annoying me the whole movie, to be quite
Why?
honest, because he was just trying to be like his cousins who were literally telling him, no,
One cousin was,
don't be like us. Don't do this.
and
This don't make no sense. We can't get away from the, oh, we're evil, oh, we're bad. And that's happened in modern black culture of like when the older sibling trying to leave and they have to beg, steal, borrow, fight, end up in jail just to get their younger siblings out. And then the younger sibling is won't go in the life for crime. And the older siblings be like, why do this for? Why would you do
yeah,
this?
exactly.
Why would you follow in these footsteps? But the younger sibling is like, man, I hard. And your life was good. And my life looked good to you.
But
I
what?
gotta shoot people.
What else? But what else do you
Sorry,
expect?
pew pew people.
When he saw his father, and he saw his father, yeah, doing great, being liked by, say, the congregation. I don't mean anything, especially when you are seeing how your father is struggling in other aspects.
Which,
So
if we
then,
had seen more of the struggle, maybe I would have related a little bit more. I'd be like, okay, cool. That father was in there for 5 seconds.
so when the cousins come out, like, yeah, buddy, I could buy you a new guitar. It actually wasn't, but we found out at the end.
That's
We could
because
get you
Stat
a
like to tell bare
yeah.
lies.
Stop. Love the lies, buddy. Love the lies. Loved his lies. He was just lying
I
to
like
make
Smoke.
everyone get
Smoke
by.
was the better
Smart,
twin.
yeah, Smart was the better twin. Smart was the more composed twin. The one with
Level-headed, smarter.
wasn't necessarily
He
smarter.
was smarter.
Both had their
No,
smarts.
Smoke was smarter.
Smart was intellectually smarter, but that's probably because he got beat less. It seemed that F Stat was just gonna wash off. Like his father was washing him off. His father was it just like wow.
Because he was the inferior twin.
Like they look at Small and just like, you know what? We can beat Stack.
Mm-hmm.
And just so obviously if you get beat,
Mm-hmm.
thumbs cross your head,
Mm-hmm.
you can have a little bit. Yeah, you can be a little bit so that is
Which
fair.
brings us to Mary. And that train station.
Oh yeah.
That was too hot for each other. That was too hot for each other. Too
Mary
hot.
was
Mary said, you think I can forget that you stick it in my soul, that you put it in my mouth, and all of these things. Excuse,
Yeah.
first of all, Haley Steinfeld.
yeah.
How are you saying all of this on the people TV? Wow.
Y'all probably already see the memes and everything. Yeah, it was.
I said, wow,
Yeah.
wow. The whole movie, they had to react to that part. We were all taken aback, clutching pearls. We did not expect her to drop that. It was just like, wait a minute. He do all of that and then left in the morning. Sure. Wow.
And then
He left she in the morning
yeah.
while she was still sleeping.
Yeah, and that was a right response to whatever garbage he was saying. Because after that response, I was like, whatever he was saying was just garbage. you could be right in with him until her response.
And after she got turned into a vampire, and she was just say, "Oh, so you could steal all that money, but you can't even steal this, so on." So, excuse me, hot girl.
Yeah, she's the hot girl summer anthem vampire. She
as a human, she was a hot girl too.
yeah, she was, but
Mary's mouth.
yeah, she was she was 10 toes deep in she the streets. The streets. She did
I know she
not care.
was
She
the
was.
only mixed race person that was like white to them, and she
Mm.
was the hottest of them.
I
Hottest.
mean,
No, Sammy
Sammy
was
Flynn.
Sammy.
Because for me,
But Sammy said,
when Sammy rolled up to the girl, I was
she
like,
said,
cool.
I walked here. I need to air
Yeah,
out a little
yeah.
bit.
So then when
And he
Sammy
said,
walked
nah,
up to
I
the
want to
girl,
taste you.
no, but when
Excuse
Sammy
me.
walked up to the girl, cause I didn't realize this until he
All of them
walked
are
up.
married to
Yeah.
other people.
And he was like, so your husband? He was like,
Wait a minute.
hey, buddy, she got husband out. He was like, yo,
He said, I want to
yeah.
taste you. Wow.
No, but I
Wow.
respected both of them. She was just
Wow.
like, I got to clean myself first. And he was just like,
Nah.
I like the extra seasoning. Mm.
Imagine how far
That's
she had
like,
to walk. That was disgusting. But also,
and the man was,
I've had it.
he was
for
he
it.
said, that's okay.
He wanted that.
No matter how you season, well seasoned, slightly seasoned, spicy, jerk. They want it all. He lap it all up. He lap it all. AWL
Okay, they
all
get it.
up.
They
I never
get
get it
it.
yet.
They get
Never
it.
get it yet. They don't get it yet. It had the point where Smoke went to
the door and she was just making noise.
And he was just like, that's my cousin. And then the Asian woman come. And the Asian woman here too. I was just like,
Yeah. Clearly.
It was.
Anyways, so that was Sammy Hotboy second. Anyways, so Sammy and his music. What pissed me off after I did the research about it, and they were like, "Oh, that music is supposed to be transformative and have power." So I get that they used the guitar when he hit the vampire in the head to be like, "Oh, the guitar had silver in it, so it smashed the vampire." However, why we can call on the spirits to like get rid of the vampires? Why these spirits is only bring the vampires but like not get rid of them? So why did we have that musical essence to lure them in? After that, I would have never want to sing again.
No.
So they were trying to be like, oh, this is against. It's supposed to show cultural oppression and racial oppression. Cool. But why couldn't the music save them? If this was supposed to be about the music, and this was supposed to be him taking a stance against the religious people who didn't want them to perform, and the white people who didn't want them to perform, why he couldn't then use music to get them to go away? Instead, them was just singing songs at them.
Because it's still slightly realistic.
You
can imagine if somebody running at you with a knife and you start singing. Like, what will happen? If that person truly had ill intent towards you.
But it was already not realistic.
Unless you land on the sickest beat that this person ever heard.
It was already not realistic.
Exactly. So it only got a certain amount of fiction that they wanted to add. It's like, yeah, we already take away some of the realism. Now you know how cheesy it will be if all of a sudden this become High School Musical 3 and everything. But they didn't want it to be completely High School Musical 3. They didn't want it
realized we talked about all the hot boy moments and we talked about the small hot boy moment when he went and visit Annie.
To be fair, that was a hot boy moment. They were actually in love.
The whole shot was her grabbing his junk.
Yeah.
That one scene.
They had one shot of she just coupling his manhood, and I was like, yeah. That probably was like that shot alone was probably like a $10,000 shot. It was like
no. Him doing the do with her was probably like a $10,000 shot.
I think that was a little more because after that happened, then it was like that's why
it was rated R. That is why it was
He
written
wasn't
out.
bareback or anything. Oh, he was bareback, but not like y'all know what I mean. He wasn't shirtless. He was raw. He was raw dogging whatever she name is, and that
And
was.
also,
And they don't
why
consider
she
that.
couldn't spiritually voodoo the people away too? All them do is eat garlic
Yeah,
and get bite up.
yeah.
Every last one of them get bite up.
Not Sammy.
And why he gets scratching his face? Why did we not let all the black people stay inside and then all the black people fight against the true vampires that was there? I feel like we would have survived.
Yeah, because they didn't realize how bad the situation was until they realized how bad the situation was.
And then it
I
was
quite,
kumbaya and
yeah.
outside.
I quite frankly, it, to be fair, it would have gone much different. It was like, one went outside, she come back inside, get invited, and for that was game over, to be honest. For the time that one thing happened, it was practically game over. Because then when they realized, okay, everybody should maybe leave or whatever, and then they realized that these guys were strong. It was everybody was basically dead from there. What could have better happened was if maybe they were like, okay, we don't really know. Um, let me just keep everybody like happy. And let me play some music while we figure it out. Maybe, but nah, nah. That was like, that's my brother. Party done. You don't, you
He
don't
was
got to go. You
traumatized.
don't got to go home, but you cannot stay here. Party done.
His
Everybody
brother died
outside.
in his arms.
He technically died before.
He died in his arms.
And he was dead
He
for the
was
time.
bleeding
He
out.
was dead for the time that she started. And he net. Everything else was just for dramatic effect. Everything else was like, oh, my brother,
He
my brother.
bled out in his hands. And in fact, he had the willpower to stab his woman, but he had the willpower to stab his twin.
No. That was also fear. She asked. She asked to be stabbed. Yeah, we get it a little. We mix smashing a lot of stuff, but yeah. Basically, let me start.
Because
Let
we
me start from
still
the.
want them to watch the
Yeah, let me
movie.
start from the beginning where we were at.
We were. And then we got pissed off with certain things.
I was a pissed.
This is essentially all the movie.
Yeah.
Every other scene was irrelevant.
No.
Yes, because why you give the Indian hunters?
Yo.
Why them was in there for 5 seconds and then they happen with them?
Oh, like.
Them said, "May God be with you," and done.
So basically, some of the exposition for it was
They're called Chutok hunters or something like that.
they were introduced as basically vampire hunters.
Yeah,
It was
for
no,
5 seconds
hey
of the
guys,
movie.
they pop up. I was like, yo, what's up?
You
I
should have
hope
let
you.
him in your
I
house.
hope if you saw someone, y'all didn't let him in. That was as much exposition on that it was, and then the people was like, we good.
Leave.
Yeah.
Then she went back inside. She has been dead and is a vampire now.
Yeah, and then we never saw
The vampire hunters ever again.
them again. Which once again, I felt
That's
like
crazy.
I felt that they were more black than anybody else. I felt that they represented a part of black culture. Because if I pull up by somebody and I walk to you and say, this is the case, I hope that you didn't do that.
You didn't tell me that the person's a vampire. If
Yeah, but I'm not giving you all wrong. If I say,
she would have said that,
if I pull up and say, yo, out here is a gangster area, a bad man area, a tug area. If you see anybody, I hope that you didn't let one of the other
then
guys
I
from.
would be like, okay, he inside there.
No, because you black. So when somebody, I gave you the warning.
You didn't give any warning. All you said is, I hope he wasn't in there.
Yeah.
That's not a warning.
I thought that you didn't let him.
That's not a warning. You ain't let me know anything about what was going on.
Every brain use of food. I say, I thought you didn't eat that.
You just let me dead.
Yeah, that on you. I thought
let her die. And then
never
the next
disappear.
day,
I ain't coming back. I am not asking no questions. I ain't showing up again. That on you. Right time I say
they were just letting that entire country, what is that? Village dead.
Yeah, as a black person, I wholeheartedly agree with the Indians. I wholeheartedly agree that what they did was correct. I'm a little disappointed that they didn't pop back up and
this shouldn't be in the end.
Yeah, I thought that they might have been in the end, but once again, never had a reason to be.
They just said peace.
Yeah, as I see somebody acting weird, like, yeah, this is not necessarily my job.
They
I don't get paid enough.
And they were done. They were in it for 5 seconds, and then what else happened? Start shooting people in the, or that was Smoke that was shooting people in the foot, in the butt. He shoot somebody in the foot and shoot somebody in the butt because they were stealing.
Yeah.
But then what's happened after that?
In the beginning, then let's get all the
entire movie is them just rounding up people.
Yeah.
To have a grand time, and then vampires coming.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it didn't like that. It was a 1 day thing, because to me, that movie could have been shorter. You had to take an hour to round up the Asian man, the Asian lady, cornbread, which was also like how much money you can give me for my wife to then.
It wasn't. No. It was funny. It was kind of.
And now he dead.
Yeah. As he should have.
So now the
I think most people that died in that picture deserve to die.
No one deserves to die.
No one deserves to die. But how it happened, death was inevitable. I like the only problem I had was how Smoke killed the last vampire. Well, the vampire guy. Because I don't know where he popped from. He just popped from the water. It was like, that's kind of weird.
From off of the. He was supposed to stop, and he ran off just how Sammy ran out the second floor.
I like that.
Sammy
I like when in a picture people understand that
physics.
that certain individuals react a certain way to stuff. Like in a lot of pictures, you will see, oh, I ain't in danger, and then you'll be like, I should jump. He was like, I in danger. I get backflip out of this barn if I got there. He just jump out. I was like, thank you. Because that's how I would act.
So that's what Smoke do. He promised to leave, and then run out the same place, and then he ran to the water and then stabbed the vampire. Remember the visual shot of where we are is backing, so we can't see him come.
I understood that, but I don't understand why no other vampire saw him.
Because they were already like burning.
No, they wasn't burning yet. So how he even get any water?
They were burning.
There wasn't burning yet.
Sammy had hit you with the guitar.
Also, there was in pain from
the
guitar.
Everybody was in the hive mind. Like, he get hit. Would you say he wasn't dead yet? But he got hit with the guitar, and they were all like, ah.
So then Smoke.
And then Smoke went to blocks.
Yeah, stab, and that's another thing. I know.
And then everybody went on fire.
I feel like if the main vampire guy should have better cognitive abilities to understand time. But I feel like if he was a vampire long enough, that he would have been able to know the sun should be coming out soon.
They half-ass out the vampires.
Yeah. I think
Like
that they
they give
half-ass that part.
they half-ass the powers of the vampires. Because if I have a hive mind and I have all of their memories, I should be able to kind of like see through all of them. Like I should be able to see Stat running up. I should be able
Nah.
to like stop him.
I think how they portrayed it. This is once again. I don't want to tell
Also for you, son, I
how
should have
however
been
he whoever the
Ryan
Ryan
Coogler.
Coogler. Oh, I don't know his vision,
So
but I think that there it was.
they should have no
It
time,
is a
as you
hive
said.
mind, but only when you access the person,
And
you get
then
their
no more.
memories. And then they're still their
So
own
how are they
individuals.
still connected to him and burning when he's burning?
Them just connected to him. Them they're not burning when he burning. They're burning because of the sun.
They
Them
were all
hurting.
feeling all of his stabs.
Yeah, I know. Like, I
That
don't
was
know.
so confusing.
But they did say when you kill the main vampire, it doesn't kill all.
Yeah, I got that part. They all burned because
But
they
they're
were in the
all,
sun.
yeah. Cause that was just like, yeah, let me still follow this guy. Let me still sing in front of Sammy because Sammy was just musical Jesus. I don't know.
And he was in the water. I don't know why he went to the water. Like, what the water was gonna do?
Well, it's better than online, to be honest. To be fair,
What was the water gonna
to be
do?
fair, I also think that was I don't want to say a little racist, but it was like a
Don't go in
let
the
me
water
run
because
to
black people
let me
can't
yeah.
swim.
I got a lot of black people chasing me, so let me run to the water. And it's like yeah, you know what the best
They're
of it?
already dead.
Yeah, but I was still black. They are black first,
Except
vampire
for the
second.
one white
Exactly.
person.
Who went in the water? The water, well, the woman to the, yeah, no, that was already dead. So the water white man went to the water.
Uh-huh.
All the other black people were just like, what? I might be a vampire, but I'm stupid. each vampire looked at them scared, just like,
Mm.
this what time it is. It's black time. We
Uh-huh.
not running in that water whatsoever. Let the white man do that.
Uh-huh.
And the white vampire went in.
Mm-hmm.
Sammy, bam, and smoke, and all the other black people was like, oh no, you see what's happening with this guy water? You're just dead. No matter how he's dead, he's dead.
Then Smoke tells him to go home to his father. Does he go home to his father?
Yeah,
No!
yeah.
He's going there and the fathers be like, drop the guitar. First of all, it's piece of guitar.
Mm,
It's like, this is much a guitar.
yeah,
Sammy said, I'm not letting it go. I went about his business. Which, if music is supposed to be all oppressed, they could have really played that out more for understanding. Because I would have think that he would have dropped the guitar and go and be religious after all that just happened.
no.
So like, we could have a second movie
I think it's
where
still called second movie.
I know, but like he old now. But I mean,
No, it was.
he would have been the star in that movie where
Sammy great grandchildren just started this movie.
no, where he father could have be seeing the vampires too, and then we would be throwing holy water on them. Anyways, the fact that he was still haunted, but that he should have gone in the church and pray. That's what he should have do. Anyways, so Smoke said go home to your father, and then I had like the end with the clan and how them get shoot up. Smoke said, "You know about me. You know about
Yeah,
me and these guns. Oh wait, I can't say that. You know about me and these pews.
you should be able to say guns.
I can't. It's get flagged.
No way hear about censorship.
No one cares. We're not.
It's so
No one cares about
stupid.
this. You know about me and these pews and literally shoot up were like 10 people.
Nah, gotta be more. Well, like the clan came in deep. They came
But everybody
in
came
deep.
in with like one little pistol. Because they obviously expected to
Yeah.
catch everybody off guard.
Yeah.
But then he was like in sniper mode and it was just like pew, 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 pew. First of all of them can't shoot because of Missy multiple times. And I was like, how I got like 20 of y'all, and none of y'all in shoot he until like the last second. How? And then he went with what is called that?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna put it in, but the type of gun that he had.
Which one? The
The
first
second
one?
one.
Second?
That was
Tommy.
going.
Tommy.
And then he went in with his Tommy, I guess I could say that, because
Yeah.
that's the name. I went, and then everybody was just done.
Yeah. He had a grenade. My guy came
Smoke
prepared.
took all
He wanted all the smoke. Smoke lived true to his name. He said, yeah, buddy.
I just left you all of that for one us to come here. Now I getting rid of this entire clan.
Yeah. He said, oh, is the clan?
Bet.
That's so small.
Bet.
Everybody could catch these hands. He
Bet.
went up and just like, yeah. I can see my woman and my daughter's last son. Can't remember which one. Was it a
It was
daughter?
a daughter.
I see my daughter in the afterlife because
Bet.
I done with this.
Mm-hmm.
I done with this. I see people come back to life. I see all these different things. You think I tired. I am tired and I just want to sleep. I had to stab my woman in the chest with a stick.
Mm-hmm.
I went through too much. And I had to, and the worst part, I had to get paint wood. That was the most vexing thing I happened to eat today. He was just like, I had all these plans and then these black people come and pay me in some wooden
You
coins.
know what's one stereotypical thing? One stereotypical black movie thing is the black people run away and was alive at the end of the movie. They weren't alive because they were dead.
Yeah.
Mary run away mid whatever was going on. And she survived at the end of the movie.
Yeah. As a black person, that's
Survive.
why
And then
horror movies so hard for black people to be in. It's just very difficult for black people, like just the black experience.
Sammy had survived.
And he had to.
He had to, but he should not have. He was stupid.
He was. Oh, firstly, how old Sammy is?
I don't know.
Sammy had to be like 14.
He was not 14.
He was.
He was old enough to drink, so he had to be 21.
Firstly, prohibition.
Mary kept saying, "Oh, you finally old enough to drink."
Yeah, 21 is new.
I know that 21 is not. It was a joke, but
Sammy was about 14.
He was not 14.
Sammy was about 14.
He was not 14.
The man said you old enough. I'm like, yeah. Once again, you know who this is?
I accept 16.
Furthermore,
maybe 18.
Fun fact: when I went into the
16, maybe 18.
When I went into the movie, funny enough.
Let's see how old Sammy was.
Funny enough, right in front of me, I had this guy. I gave the ticket, and then one of the workers looked at him and was just like, "How old are you?" And he was like, 17 and 8 months. And she was just like,
"No, you're not. But
you can't come in here." And then the other man that was working there too was like, "You should have just lied, buddy." But
he did lie.
Go on.
17 and 8 months. The rated R is you have to be 17.
No, that's NC 17. R is 18. Even though technically.
See? No, I don't know. Late teens, early 20s. So he gotta be like 18, 19.
Sammy is about 14.
He is not.
The woman that he was probably 17. Say you look like a nice boy. I'm like, nah. He's a man.
And not nice all the time. That's what he said.
With these man lips and these man tongue, man.
Anyways, any wrapping up thoughts?
And this man.
Any wrapping up thoughts? I'm not putting that in, so whatever. Any thoughts to wrap up? Final thoughts?
Like JD said.
Is it still 4 stars? Yeah. It is not!
You see, you do other research after. This coming, I straight off the dome. I already knew coming in what was being said. I knew the background from. I thought that had good
I was trying to
exposition.
give it a fair shot when I
I
said all of that.
I thought it was for. I thought it was entertaining. It was
It
entertainment.
was 3.5. It was not 4, but
What
that's
what
his
deserves
rating.
what deserves
That's his rating. That's fine.
what deserves
That's
a 4?
okay.
Okay.
That's okay,
I
buddy.
believe that it should be a 4 because it wasn't trying to be something that it wasn't.
It wasn't.
It wasn't. It wasn't trying to be.
It was being a horror musical.
Yeah, it was. It was trying to be original, and it wasn't trying to be this Negro spiritual.
It was though.
Yeah, but it wasn't trying to be
Oh,
that.
you
It
should have
wasn't.
yelled in my ear.
It wasn't trying to be this or black, blackity black,
But it was.
black. It wasn't trying to be.
But it was.
It didn't come off as yo. You got to be black to black,
Mm-hmm.
black,
Mm-hmm.
blackity black.
Mm-hmm.
It was just yo. We black. Black's blacking.
Okay.
So, like I said, like JD said,
Final
you
thoughts.
either a sinner or a citizen. That was how it was. Either a sinner or a citizen. That's my thoughts about it.
Mhm.
You either shooting people or you
I'm
get
not-
eat by vampire zombie
Okay.
hybrid Caucasians. Nah, just do a juke with a ukulele.
They were singing Irish songs. Doing
Yeah.
Irish jig.
Yeah.
Anyways, thanks so much for watching Fiction and Feelings. We were talking about Sinners. 3, 4 stars. Bye. Why are you